Well, greetings. By now, you have probably seen online that next year we will be hosting an annual State of Exit Planning webinar and report. This is something that we're very excited to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few minutes to kind of give you an idea about what you can expect. Most business owners who fail to successfully exit don't fail because of the market or lack of buyers. They fail because their businesses, they simply are not ready. And there could be a variety of reasons for that. Um, Really, the difference between a successful exit and a failed one comes down to preparation. And that preparation, it really starts with intelligence, specifically business intelligence. Now, for those of you who do not know me, I am Evan Duke. I am a fractional COO specializing in exit optimizations for founder dependent businesses. My perspective is a bit unique in that I am going to be working inside a business for 3 to 5 years before the exit, and I'm going to be focusing on 7 operational pillars: data analytics, budget control, strategic planning, process development, operations, marketing, and technology. And really, what is important in taking a look at all of those areas is the fact that a lot of the information that we're going to be dealing with, especially when it comes to exit planning, it's the advice is theoretical or anecdotal. And that's part of the problem. In fact, that's one of the reasons why when we see why there are so many people who are aware of it, I believe if I remember statistics from a webinar that I did recently, almost 70% of business owners have some knowledge of exit planning. But the reality is, in terms of those who've actually done it, it is substantially less than that. And really, the reason why is because a lot of that exit planning advice is anecdotal or theoretical. Now, real exit readiness requires understanding what operational gaps are going to actually cost you in your valuation, how market conditions are actually going to shift buyer expectations. And spoiler alert, if you have a very well built business, it doesn't really matter what market conditions are, you're going to get the best deal. So market conditions are going to primarily affect businesses that are almost but are not quite there. And then really, exit readiness, when businesses need to start exit preparation. Honestly, I have heard people say that you should start your exit day one. Yes, exit planning day one. That might seem extreme, but the reality is, the sooner you get started, preferably right at the beginning, the better off you'll be. And now, what are the 4 exit killing challenges that look like in practice? Well, these are founder dependency, operational chaos, a lack of systems, and poor financial visibility. And, business owners, if you're going to be able to navigate this, what you're going to require is you're going to need data driven intelligence, not advice. And that is where I like to focus, is making sure that we're able to get that. And that's really what the whole purpose of this annual state of annual annual state of exit planning webinar and report is going to be. It's going to be all about getting that type of intelligence so that you know what is going on there. And what's important is realizing what worked 3 years ago may not work today. Ironically, what worked in the 90s might work better than worked 3 years ago today. I'm not going to say that as a rule, but that's just an example. And what works today might not work in 18 months. So what's important is being able to adjust on the fly as needed. Okay, now a little bit more about the annual state of exit planning. What this is going to be a comprehensive annual briefing that's synthesizing real operational intelligence from inside businesses preparing for exit. We're going to be looking at M&A market trends, transaction data, operational readiness patterns, and buyer behavior. And then we'll be detailing the research report both in written form as well as in a live webinar presentation. Now, what you're going to discover if you're a business owner who have revenue from 2 to 50 million and you're 3 to 5 years from exit is which operational readiness gaps cost the most in valuation and how to close them. The real timeline for exit preparation based on actual transaction data, what buyers are demanding during due diligence, which of the 7 operational pillars require immediate attention versus long-term investment, and specific actionable steps for the next 90 days. Now, if you are an M&A advisor, a wealth manager, a CPA, or a business attorney, what you will discover in these videos is how to identify exit readiness gaps 2 to 3 years early. You'll also discover how multidisciplinary collaboration models that will win deals effectively, how to position exit preparation services effectively, and partnership opportunities within the exit planning ecosystem. And obviously, for everyone out there, what we're going to be able to get from this is market outlook and emerging trends, risk mitigation procedures, priorities, strategic opportunities, and data-driven predictions. Okay, so what is going to differentiate this annual report from others? Well, a lot of this is not going to be theory. It's going to be operational ready. This is going to be intelligence from inside actual businesses, not necessarily somebody thinking, okay, yeah, this is a rather cool construct. The insights are going to be data backed, obviously transaction analyses, pipeline trends, operational assessments, and market research. Dual audience value. This is going to be designed not only for business owners, but also the professionals who are trying to help them when it comes to the exit planning. Now, what are the comprehensive deliverables going to look like? Well, it's going to be a detailed research report. Could be anywhere from 46 pages, might be a little longer, might be a little shorter. A lot of it just depends on, what we find. Live webinar with Q&A to address your specific situation. And, there'll be a recording that'll be made available along with presentation slides for those who attend. And then obviously implementation frameworks. And again, what this is planned on doing is becoming an annual tradition where we're going to be building on everything that happened the previous year, just showing, okay, this is where we were in 27. This is where things are in 28, and then so on. So how do you access it? Well, the plan right now is it's going to be held every January at 3:30 p.m., most likely on the second Wednesday. We'll be making an official an announcement each year just to confirm. Just some years it might make more sense on the third Wednesday. In fact, there's a good chance it's possible it may stay on the third Wednesday. But really, it'll be either the second or the third Wednesday. A lot of it, again, depends with the calendar. You look at it to be about maybe 75 minutes with a 60-minute presentation, followed by a 15-minute Q&A session. Registration, we will be putting a link and information out in the fourth quarter of the year. And what can you expect with this annual report? Well, it's going to be published every January, be available to all webinar registrants, as well as eventually, once, the dust is settled, it will be available as a standalone resource to anybody who wants it. Well, what can you expect? Well, the reality is, if this intelligence, just because of the fact it's going to be developed over the course of the year, you could expect it to cost maybe $60,000 for it, because that'd be what the value of one person as a fractional client would be over the course of a year, just in that length of time. So there's going to be a lot of information. There's a lot of value to it. It's going to be compiled specifically with the goal of, helping the exit planning industry, knowing what's going on and just plan accordingly. And, whether you're planning your own exit or helping clients to prepare, it's my hope to see you at that. I'd love to see you. And again, this is very much a team sport. While obviously I'm bringing this all from a particular perspective, my goal is to help whether you're a business owner or an advisor to be ultimately successful in your goals when it comes to exit planning. So thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.